Hello, I'm John Beattie. Welcome to Cask to Glass, the Scotch Whisky podcast, where we look at the heritage and flavour of Scotland's national drink and the world's favourite spirit. We've got a theme today, which is, I think, the Lions, effectively. We've got 7 whiskies to taste. We've got 6 from the Six Nations, and we have an Aussie one. In the company of Master Blender Max McFarlane. Hello.
Hello, John. Nice to be with you again.
And Scotland and Lions rugby player Ryan Grant. Hello.
Thanks for having me, John.
Pleasure. You've got a bit of a whiskey thing going, haven't you?
Yeah, I now work in the whiskey industry, mostly bulk wholesale kind of, but got a small independent bottler called Unkiltered, which is good fun. So yeah, enjoying the whiskey space at the moment.
Right, Max, this was your idea.
Yeah. I thought it'd be as the Lions are heading off to Australia, you decided that you added a wee bit to it when we thought we'll have the Australian drams. So trying to find the drams themselves was quite a task. But we've got them all. We've got everyone from each one of the Six Nations and the rugby, and we've got the guest starboard from Australia. So I'm looking forward to seeing all the different whiskies. I'm sure we'll have good fun.
Yeah, right. So both of us have 25 caps. The first one is the French whiskey.
Lovely.
Right, here we go, the French whiskey. This is called Coperies, which you told me beforehand means harvest. So it says whiskey français, pot distilled and oak aged. Vieilli en fût de chêne. Don't know what that means. Distillé, élevé. So it's all assembled in the Charente region of France.
Just north of Bordeaux, John.
Okay, right. Let's have a go. Cheers first, is it?
Cheers.
Slange. Right, cheers. French whiskey.
Yep. Nice nose.
What's the ABV on that, John?
40%. 40%.
Yeah, it's fruity kind of sultanas, sort of dark fruits. Almost like Bourneville chocolate.
There's almost a kind of savoury note in there as well.
Aye.
Kind of old leather or something.
Mm-hmm.
A wee sip. Gosh, it's not really like a Scottish whiskey, is it? It's a very mild, would you say?
It's it reminds me a wee bit of Oloroso. Sherry. And of course the colour is quite significant as well.
It's very sweet.
I think it's only 3 years old.
This is very good. You and me are looking at the French. There's an English interpretation. Here it goes. Coperies is a French single malt whiskey made in only one distillery. Its production results from a centuries-old know-how of the crafting of the most prestigious French brandy. First distillation is doubly run in Chanté copper pot stills, then giving a round and elegant malt distillate. Then the aging is made in French oak barrels, balancing new and old casks.
Yep.
Yeah, you like it?
There's a definite hint. There's a definite hint of new wood in it as well.
Yeah,
but it's, the spirit itself is actually. It seems to me actually older. Than.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting. That kind of old leathery smell
for sure. Yep. Amazing colour. If I think it's natural colour. They're getting that from the barrels.
It is very dark.
Aye.
Is it a young whiskey or?
I think it'll be the distillery started in 2021, if I remember right. So it's only been maybe 3 or 4 years old.
I think you like it?
Aye, it's not too
nice,
bad.
Yeah,
it's quite nice.
First ever French whiskey.
Absolutely, quite pleasant.
It's better than being attacked in the Stade de France, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I think that's a good start. I think that's
a
good start.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm quite.
So that's
quite impressed.
That's the French whiskey.
Yep. Coperies. How do you pronounce it again, John?
I'd say Coperies. Coperies.
Yeah.
Coperies.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. Right. Okay. Next one is the Italian whiskey.
Yeah. Punic. The distilleries in the shadow of the Alps, so you would imagine really good, nice water. Anyway, so the distillery itself has had quite a history, but they just started distilling just in the last 5 years, I think.
Right.
And the one thing you would notice about this is a completely different colour to the last one.
Yeah.
You know, I think this is bourbon barrels, I think.
Is it malt, single malt? Yeah.
Aye.
4-year-old Italian blended whiskey.
Blend.
Oh, no.
A blended whiskey. Distilled November 2012. Cask type is bourbon and Pinot Noir.
Wow.
So it's a bourbon and Pinot Noir.
You would assume it would have a lot more colour than that being in a Pinot Noir. It must be a very small percentage.
Quite a nice nose.
So there's only 300 bottles of this.
Aye.
Non-chill filtered. Right, I haven't tasted this, so...
It's a kind of fruity note, almost like
A little bit of pineapple.
plums or something, sweeter
Yeah.
fruit. Pineapples, absolutely right.
Did you have to look hard for this one? Is this easy to get? I mean, are there lots of French and Italian whiskies?
Well, I started off with Master of Malt.
Oh, right.
And they tend to have most of the European whiskies. That maybe there's only, I think that's the only one I could find. Master of Malt had most of them.
Are we scoring these so there's a winner at the end?
Aye. Competitive.
Yeah.
He's competitive.
A coach.
The coach, he's competitive, the former line. Okay, well, let's start off with the French one.
I was impressed with that.
So was I. I would give that 8 out of 10.
Yeah,
That'd be a bit, yeah, 7 or 8.
okay. And the
Start
Italian
strong.
one?
Let's see what this
The
is.
Italian one?
We'll get into that.
Oh my God.
You don't like it?
Really, really sweet. It's very, very sweet. It's like the palate is something like you would.
I'm not going to tell you what we use this jug for.
Oh, very, very sweet. And with bourbon, you think you get a bourbon. No, this is Pinot Noir. There's too much in it. There's too much Pinot Noir in this.
Do you think Pinot, like, I don't know if Pinot Noir gives off such a sweet flavour either. It's almost enhanced.
Is it not really lightly coloured for something that's been in Pinot Noir?
Yeah,
Pinot
that's
Noir?
that was my
That's
original thought.
That's a
very
red
dry-
wine.
Maybe just put it in for 5
They've
minutes.
just made that up, haven't they?
Aye.
It's very dry as well on the finish.
Aye. It's a kind of
A dessert
Oh,
wine,
it's-
dessert whiskey almost.
aye.
A dessert
quite
whiskey.
Sweet,
Yeah.
Quite sweet. It's like one of those sweeties that you used to get when you were young. You get 4 of them for a penny, and you put it in, and it's like a refresher.
Sherbet lemon.
Like
A refresher. A
You're
refresher.
going,
That's
going
what
back
it's
a bit now, Max.
Sorry about that. Sorry, audience.
Can't
No,
get
no, no.
anything for a penny anymore, mate.
So you like the French one?
Yep.
You like that? It's dark.
8 out of 10. The only thing I don't understand is the darkness. How it's so dark without them saying it.
Yeah, yeah. I
That's the
think they
only
would.
thing about it.
I think it is.
Okay.
It'd have to be sherry, wouldn't it?
You would think so, but it's not mentioned. I thought.
No,
I thought
ages. The French one's French oak barrels balancing new and old casks for subtle, spicy notes and silky tannin. They wouldn't dye it, would they?
Well, you can put colouring in, can't you? Caramel colouring, but it does
Anyway, it was still 8 out of 10.
Yeah,
you know,
still.
for this would be it's a kind of mixed bag. I would give that 7.
Would you?
It's
But you like
It's
it?
just there's no balance to it. There's no balance. I don't particularly like it because there's no balance to it. It's all mouth and then nothing.
How can you give it the same score as the French one then?
No, it's 8.
8.
Oh, right, of
Coperies-
course. I gave it a 7, didn't I?
Coperies was 8, but
This is like, what's that programme with the boy Campbell on it? The rugby player from Lenzie who was at Hawks.
Not sure.
You know what they do? Danny Campbell, where they mark the houses.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I give this house a 7. What's it called?
You're good at
You
it.
give this.
I'm not sure about that.
You don't like it?
I mean, I probably wouldn't go back to it. So,
No.
yeah, I'd say a 5 or a 6 on
Okay.
for the Italians.
I've been kind.
It's not like
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. You would downgrade your mark now, wouldn't you? Okay.
What about brutal honesty here today, Max?
Aye.
Are we?
Maybe they're looking-
I'll take that. Winner's mentality. Right. Okay.
They need a good master blender for that, I think.
Right.
Max is still available.
Is he? I thought he wasn't available anymore.
You never know what comes up. You never know what comes up.
What's this one? Welsh whiskey.
Welsh whiskey, yeah.
The lights are coming on in the valleys.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Pendyren. The history of Pendyren, I didn't realise it. They now have 3 distilleries.
Oh, really?
Pendyren, they've just one in Swansea, one in Llandudno, and one somewhere else. But
Do you know those lollipops, the drumsticks?
aye.
Big on the nose.
Madeira finish. Single malt Welsh whiskey.
Cream soda.
Aye.
Yeah.
Aye. But disappointing colour.
Yeah.
You know, I was quite disappointed with the colour. Obviously natural colour, but I would anticipate it being a bit darker.
You always told me never to judge a whiskey by its colour, Max. Unless it's Welsh.
Better edit that out. Not a great nose.
That's quite alcohol to the fore, isn't it?
Aye.
Is it young?
No, I don't think it says anything.
Madeira.
No.
Doesn't say. Just a Welsh single malt, with Madeira finish.
Quite disappointing on the nose. Hope might be better on the palate.
Can I grab that? Yo.
He doesn't like it. You don't like it. For those of you
Forgive me.
That's fiery.
That's,
the Welsh whiskey.
I'm saying you see, I've just come past guys tarring one of the pavements along there. That's what it tastes like.
Yeah.
It tastes like kind of, I don't know, Madeira.
Yeah.
No,
It's quite, I think, what's the ABV on it? It's quite...
Doesn't say.
It doesn't, it must say.
it's hidden somewhere. 46.
It feels way higher than that, doesn't it? It's very burny.
I might be young as well. I know.
Yeah.
I don't like the taste. Nah.
You just don't like it.
Did
you like it,
My
right?
favourite. It's not my favourite.
I thought the nose was lovely. Big cream soda notes, but yeah, can't say I'm a fan of that one either.
And I don't think it's wholly down to the Madeira finish. I don't know. Maybe it's too young. Maybe it's very young.
I'm not sure if you're even getting much Madeira through that.
Aye.
Right, marks for the Welsh.
Oh, okay. I'll start listing at 5.
Oh yeah, I think five's fair.
Right.
Lovely nose.
So in order then, so far, we've got best, slightly worse, slightly worse. We'll get back to that episode in a second, but the best free way you can support the podcast is just hit the thumbs up button on this video and subscribe so you get new episodes every week. It also helps lots more people find the podcast. So thank you. So best is the French one.
This could end up panning out like the actual Six Nations results.
Well, you want the Irish up? No. Yeah, okay, that's good. Shall we try? We'll go along the table. So this one.
Australian.
We should leave.
Yeah.
No, let's try the Aussie. Let's
Yeah,
try the Aussie one.
Starward.
I've heard lots of good things about
This
Star
is
Wars.
Australian whiskey.
I can't remember. It's some kind of finished cask. I think it's Madeira. No, Rioja cask. Nice color
mean-
to it.
Elementary matured in red wine barrels inherited from Australian wineries. We refill the barrels with minimal intervention to retain the flavour, texture and essence of Australian red wine and oak. The result's a truly unique single malt whiskey that reflects the place it's made.
Almost looks like Iron Brew in the bottle, doesn't it?
That's the Aussie one.
A good nose. Good
Yeah,
nose.
you like
If not, there's a kind of slightly bump note to it. Like an old-fashioned Scottish one for me, Kinlers. That's what it kind of, and a bit of resin about it as well. Don't get much in the way of red wine. Anyway.
Watched video of Richard Patterson doing a tasting the other day and he was one of my nostrils is blocked.
It's quite fruity to my simple nose.
Yeah, I think it's got a lovely nose.
Aye, it does. That's got a nice balance to it.
Soft. It's not overpowering.
Aye, aye.
Can I grab the
Spittoon.
Max? The latrine.
Okay, so
That's
you,
nice.
you like the Australian one?
Yeah, yeah. Doesn't disappoint. Nice nose, nice palate, nice in the palate as well.
I'm obviously spitting, but I did feel like I wanted to swallow that.
I know.
Yeah, that was
No,
nice.
it's a nice one, isn't it? Well done, the Australians.
Yeah, quite a short finish on it though.
Yeah, I think we dry as well.
Yeah,
There's no. The thing about these, very few actually tell you what age they are.
yeah,
You know, that's
which is a good indicator that they're not very
I
old.
don't want to tell you.
Yeah, that's nice though.
Yeah,
Melbourne based.
they're in order at the moment.
Yeah, I would say that's the best so far we've
That's
had.
the best.
Agreed.
Yeah,
9,
8.
8,
8.
Okay.
Yep. Nice.
Doesn't say
Nice.
whereabouts in Australia, does it? Or not? No.
Some good
No.
whiskey comes out of Tasmania,
Aye.
isn't it?
Aye.
Not sure if Star Wars turned down that way.
Doesn't say.
Melbourne. I think.
Do you think?
When I looked
Okay.
it up, it was the Melbourne. History was Melbourne.
I like that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Quite pleasant.
I see the Lions have moved away to Portugal.
Yeah,
Summer training.
yeah, must be nice. Although they could probably do it here. The weather's good enough at the
I
moment.
know.
Where did you guys end up for summer training?
We didn't. Well, you were pro. I was an amateur. So we were. My first Lions tour was South Africa.
Yeah,
So I spent a month and a half up there training with Cameron Sharp and what was his name? The ex Scotland coach, the first one, Bill Dickinson,
Oh, right.
who was a Jordan Hill guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second one was we went straight there,
Yeah.
straight training, just straight to New Zealand.
I obviously went out late, so I was with the Scotland camp.
Yeah,
And it was a late call up, so I was in Durban for a week or so before flying out to Australia. So did my climatized training over there, which was fun.
in Durban.
Yeah.
Do you think that? I think that's what will happen. Some of the boys that are going to Fiji that might get called up if there's
It might do.
Yeah, I think so. Although it's winter in Australia just now, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure climate training's necessary. It's probably just an excuse to get a couple of weeks.
I
of
remember
Portugal.
when our coach on the first Lions tour said, "We're going to do some altitude training, right? Spread out on the beach."
Yeah,
We're going,
low altitude.
what?
we did
Do you know
some.
what my fitness test for the Lions tour was? Can you touch your toes?
Oh, brilliant!
And can I examine your? That was it.
You're
Uh-huh.
gonna have to say it
Credentials.
for the listeners.
My credentials. That was my entire fitness test.
Yeah. No, I think if we didn't. That wasn't a thing for us.
No.
It was if you were clear fit to play by your union, then
could
you
play.
were fit. Yeah. We did some altitude training with Vern when he was the head coach of Scotland, though.
Cotter.
Yeah, that was interesting.
That made the papers.
It did make.
It
the
did make.
papers,
We shouldn't
yeah.
go there because
Well,
that made the papers, didn't it?
did.
Do you remember that story?
No. I remember wearing Cotter, but I don't remember.
I think it was Big Jim Hamilton, wasn't it? He let the cat out of the bag, as it were, or the rabbit.
Rabbit.
Yeah.
You had to. What we should say?
Yeah.
Should we say?
Sure.
You had to kill a rabbit
Yeah, we had to needlessly kill rabbits.
to prove you're man enough.
It was one of the most bizarre
Bonkers.
experiences I've ever been part of. We had to hike up a hill with nothing, no other thought than we're going out to hike up a hill, which turned into you're now sleeping out here in the rough with nothing other than the shorts and t-shirt that you're wearing, and then these I think they were French Legionnaires turned up with rabbits in cages, clearly from a pet shop.
Petrified rabbits.
Yeah, the guy pulls one out of a cage, swings it around like a windmill with his back legs, and then bashes it off a rock. And then we were in 4 groups, and the guys had this. They were like, who's going to step up, and this is your dinner, take it or leave it, type thing. And we were all big lads, and we were all starving. We'd been hiking for however long, and a couple of the lads stepped up, and I remember big Josh Strauss. He's a big
South
like
African
beast
boy.
on the pitch, but you know he's a soft guy, and he was in tears like at the thought of having to kill these rabbits.
You
And,
had to do one each.
so each group had one, so there was 4 rabbits.
Right.
But obviously, sort of a couple of guys stepped up, and you know they were rightly the most upset, having had gone through that. And then this truck pulls up, and the door's opening, and they open the door, and there's beers and sausages in there, and they're
It was
like,
catering.
"Yeah." We're like, "What? Like, so what was that all about?" And he was
So
like,
you weren't
"What
eating
is that?"
rabbit?
No, we didn't eat it.
Yeah.
Test of manhood. We're like, all right, well, yeah, bizarre. And then, you know, we spent the whole night, 30 boys, you know, almost half naked, huddled around a small campfire.
Crazy.
But VP Nell, who obviously was an outdoorsman at the time, he disappeared, and no one heard from him. And he came back at 6 a.m, fresh as a button. I'm like, where have you been? And he'd obviously found this massive rock that had been exposed to the sun all day, so it kept its warmth all night. And, well, thanks for sharing, mate. The rest of us are all freezing to death in the. But yeah, bizarre
That
experience.
is bizarre. I shared a flat with 2 Marines when I first moved to Edinburgh, and they used to have a final exercise, which was they'd be running and climbing and doing jumping and attacking for 3 days. They'd turn up at this place 10 miles outside Plymouth, and they'd be told to change and get in the trucks and go home. They changed, and the trucks all drove off, and they had to run into Plymouth singing the Marine songs in their boots for 10 miles. Anyway, should we get back to whiskies?
Yeah, sure.
We do England next.
Okay.
England next.
Our English friends.
Sure what that one is.
Thanks for providing all these, Max.
I don't. I'm going to use them again for. Well, Brian and I'll think about doing something for
Charity.
Doddy or something to raise some funds or something. We'll do another 6 Nations somewhere. So rye whiskey this time.
Yeah.
Rollins.
Oh,
Isn't popular.
Regenerated French, Hungarian, and American oak barrels.
it's got a distinct nose.
So, as you know, whiskey's normally
Yeah,
barley.
yeah,
it's rye,
yeah.
So, aye, that's peppery.
Yeah,
Just pepper.
spicy. Yeah.
Aye.
I almost think not in a bad way, but you know sometimes with rye whiskey I get a kind of note of, you know, like a damp tent. You know when you pack a tent away and then you get it back out again. It's like it's not a bad note,
Very
but
like a rugby kit used to be on a Tuesday.
yeah,
No, there's definitely a damp note
yeah,
to that,
damp smell
you know.
to it. Yeah,
I'm not saying off, but
yeah. You've left your kit in your bag overnight.
Saying it's a kind of transatlantic style, it says. Okay. That's different.
Well, I quite like that.
it's got a kind of almost virgin oak
Like a
note to it.
yeah. It's got a bit of Werther originals.
That is
about it.
nice.
And it's got a nice mouthfeel as well. And
Yeah.
stays.
Silky. Bit oily.
That is really nice, isn't it?
They need to be careful with. I get the oil, but the oil is just bordering on being too oily.
Yeah.
You know, it's
It is
kinda-
greasy, isn't it? It's got an oily thing to it.
Yeah.
Aye. But oily woody as well. Resiny kind of note to it.
It's got
Nice,
big,
though.
big Werther's originals on the palate, isn't it?
You like it?
Yeah, I do like that. Yeah.
Are there many? I mean, you were saying the other day there are a lot of English distilleries.
50 or 60 of them, yep. And one interesting one I read about last week, one of the distilleries actually started off as a brewery. So they're doing both. They're making beer and they're making whiskey.
Right.
The common denominator is yeast. You know, so
Yeah.
they're thinking way beyond the you know, innovation.
Snobbery would say this shouldn't be as good as anything we produce, but it's tasty. We like it. It's pleasant.
Yeah.
It's drinkable.
It's got a bit of Parma Violet about it as well.
That's
isn't
it.
Yeah.
That's it.
I don't know how you guys taste all these things.
Max
We
Max
don't-
put me through my paces.
We don't. We just get the dictionary out.
It's the same 20 catchphrase once every time.
Well, what was the first one you said to me?
Popcorn.
Popcorn. Yeah, popcorn. Back in the day. Nice. We like it.
Yeah, that's nice.
Is it better than the Australian one?
I would put it between the Australian and French.
Would you?
Yeah, I would say either between or
Very close.
on par with the Star Wars.
Aye.
Yeah.
Very close.
Okay, put them together almost.
Yeah.
So 8.
Yeah.
8 for that.
Solid 8.
Yeah.
Right, we like it.
Yeah.
Right, should we try the Irish?
Tullamore Dew.
Tullamore Dew. Is this a well-known whiskey?
Yep.
Very different.
Well,
That's
there you are, John. You can
That's very.
triple distilled is the most obvious
triple
thing,
distilled.
isn't it?
Yeah. It's got that kind of cream soda note as well.
It doesn't
It's
say
almost as
much
if it's
about it.
been distilled too much.
3 times.
I know, it's as if they've, sucked the bottom of the barrel. It's not great in the nose.
I don't mind that,
Aye, you like that?
It's got something in it for me. There's a taste. There's something in the nose we've not had yet.
Aye.
I don't know what it is.
I was thinking vanilla, but it's not.
Yeah, I was just going to say,
It's not vanilla.
not
It's
vanilla.
quite sweet. Is there something sweet?
Aye, well,
Yeah, it's very sweet.
Usually, wait till you taste it. Usually, it's very sweet in the palate as well.
Again, I feel like the smell of those drumstick lollipops. Or my daughter has them. They're called drumstick squashums, which are amazing if you've never had them. But
I think the ABV comes through too much there.
what is it, 40%?
I was going to say, do they cheat making whiskey? No, that's a bad pun.
Do they cheat? Just the Irish in general.
When Irish whiskey's huge around everywhere you go around the world, there's an Irish bar
Aye.
selling Irish whiskey.
Yeah.
That's something the Scots have never done that well, is it? We've never. There are Scottish bars, but there aren't Scottish bars to the extent that there are Irish bars.
No, everywhere you go, there's an
Irish bar.
Irish bar.
Likewise, they're getting in the golf, aren't they? They're huge golf country.
So the big difference between that and the majority is this triple distilled thing. That's what
Yeah.
the Irish whiskey is famed for.
And what does that do?
I think double distilled, they think there's going to be more alcohol left if you distill it again.
Yep, yep.
But I think in most cases, I think they're just trying to be different.
I
don't know the difference. I think they're just trying to get the most out of the mash that they possibly can, or they still get it out as much as they can. We usually do twice, but Irish do 3 times.
So, yeah, something in it about maybe concentrating the flavours a bit more, distilling it down further.
Aye.
I don't think it makes in my own opinion anyway, don't think it makes a huge difference.
Where would you put it? I've stuck it tentatively. We like the Australian, we like the English, we like the French. Is it better than the French? No. Or yes?
I would put it. I think it's the French is better than the Irish.
Mm-hmm. We agree.
Just because I haven't seen a French one before. It might just be because I'm not used to it.
Yeah.
But on that front, yes, that would be where I would be at the moment.
At the moment, you've got Australia beating the Lions, haven't you? At the moment, the Aussie whiskey's out in front. Do you like it?
Got a strong Scottish contingent going out.
True. There's the famous grouse to come.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah.
I love telling the amazing story of Scotland's whisky industry and sharing some positivity about one of the incredible things this country has given the world. Now, if you want to share some positivity too, leave us a 5-star rating wherever you are listening to the podcast. It takes you 10 seconds and will help Cast to Glass reach a much, much wider audience.
I would say I'd put the Starward on par with the English whiskey. Mm-hmm. But yeah,
Quite interesting though.
it is. Yeah,
Well, to me, that's interesting that we like Irish whiskey is hugely popular around the world. Not many people drink French whiskey, but we think at the moment the Australian whiskey is the best. You think because you're the experts.
Yep.
And the English whiskey is in second place.
Yep. It's obviously going to be different because it's rye. But yeah, I would agree with all that at the moment.
Yeah.
That's
we've got Scottish to come.
See, that's interesting,
Right.
isn't it? That's different. You wouldn't have predicted that, I don't think.
No, well,
Wales at the bottom. I think you could have got, you could have got away with that.
I was doing an event with Ivan Tukolo last
Yeah.
week at the Ukraine thing.
Good
And
guy.
he had a whole bunch. He's a great bloke.
Did the Doddy cycle with him. Ended up
Oh, he's
catching
a
up with
fantastic fun.
an athlete.
He's an athlete. And Gregor Townsend did the Q&A.
Oh, really?
So it was Gregor Townsend, me, Chris Patson, Roger Bear. And everyone was asked, what's your prediction of the test outcome? And Gregor's pretty sure the Lions will do really well.
Yeah.
But he thinks it could be 3-0. 3-0.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't disagree. I think when everyone's written Australia off now for a good few years and for a good reason. But then the November series,
I know.
They
scared people.
Yeah, they did. They showed up and
those Schmidt's made a difference
on their home turf. I think.
Aye.
I don't think it's going to be easy, but I do think it could very well be 3-0.
Yep.
Wow.
I agree.
Well, at the moment, their whiskey's leading. So let's try. Well, I mean, I feel that you're involved in the famous grouse. This is
We have to say it's good because we don't want to offend Max. You probably blended this. This is an old bottle. This.
When were you the blender for famous grouse?
Oh, well, I've retired 8 years. So prior to that, I was involved in the blending that for about 25 years.
Yeah. There we go. Does it say blended by Max?
Yeah.
No.
Gold Reserve though, not just any grouse.
All right. Okay. So this is a blend, it says, of the finest mild malt and grain whiskies, including the world-famous malts, the Macallan and Highland Park. This outstanding blend has been aged for 12 years in oak casks to develop unique richness and depth of flavour. Okay. So it's a blend.
And 12 years old.
12 years old. So we're ending on a blend, right? We're ending on a blend, a Scottish blend. Probably one of the most famous whiskies in the world. Famous grouse.
Yep.
Your people have the Johnny Walkers and the Macallan, but in terms of global recognition,
For sure.
big sponsor of the rugby team for a while.
Yep.
In every pub in Scotland will have famous grouse.
Sure. Yep.
I'll taste it, and I'm not an expert, but I think it's just, to my non-expert, it's just varied and friendly and good on the nose, colourful,
Friendly is a great word
fruity.
for it. Yeah.
You're not going to be scared by it.
No.
You're not going to go, it's a peaty, scary whiskey.
Nice balance.
And you know it's deep.
Nice
you know it's
balance.
deep, don't you?
Macallan Highland Park, started for 10. And North British, which the distillery is just at the back of Murrayfield.
Is that the one? Wow.
Yep.
Must be the best. I think the nose on it's it's very soft and approachable, and there's lots of
There's colours.
there's lots
Colours
going on in there, but nothing that's
Nuances.
nuances. Yeah,
Because I remember you on a team, but Max brought in an off note one day.
yeah.
It's just crazy.
Yeah.
The off, when you have an off note, but this is just lovely. Gentle.
John doesn't need this. What you do?
Bit of butterscotch in there.
Aye. Highland Park Macallan's a really nice.
Yeah.
Glenworth as well. Tam do. And then North British as well. And I think, if I remember right, it was a hint of Strathclyde, which is the Gorbals, the distillery of the Gorbals. But yeah, it's a pity it's been sold just recently. Been sold to William Grant's just recently in the last 3 or 4 months. But very pleasant.
We like it.
I can't score this one, obviously.
We like it.
I do. Yeah, I think in terms of a blow your socks off whiskey, it's probably not that, but it's a very
It's a good starter for 10 for people.
yeah, it's a great entry level whiskey, and it's a great sipper. You don't want to have a big fancy expensive whiskey every time you drink.
That's another one. Entry level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's another
Entry level.
yeah.
another one.
That's a word that I'm hearing
Your
quite a lot
gateway.
these days.
Your gateway,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Aye.
because you're
Is
younger.
that a new buzzword? This is your entry level whiskey.
You're a younger whiskey consumer. Like most people are put off by whiskey, and I certainly was
Sure.
by, you steal something out your dad's drinks cabinet and it ends up being a Lafroig and you have a bad experience. But if you're coming back to the game, then that's a something like that could help ease the process of becoming a whiskey connoisseur.
Entry level. Because it's a bit like radio, isn't it? In that you assume older people listen to radio.
Yeah.
But you have to come into it somehow. Mm-hmm. You don't just turn 60 and go, I'll listen to the radio now. Likewise, whiskey. I mean, young people listen to radio, all kinds of radio, even speech-based radio. But young people would want to get into something that's palatable, that's friendly, that's pleasant, wouldn't they? And Scottish, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
entry-level whiskey.
A big part of the new consumer base is getting them in at a really comfortable level. Because when you go to things like Fage or the big Isla whiskey festivals or a lot of the marketing around whiskey, it's everyone's just like, oh, that's too smoky for me. Like when you haven't actually tried a whiskey that might be better suited for you, because there is a whiskey for everybody.
Yeah.
It just on the blend thing, I think grain's massively underrated. There's some beautiful grain spirits.
That's the one we're going to show Judith.
Judith Ralston, we're coming after you.
The Riveter.
That's
so easy to drink.
Yeah.
Popcorn. John knows the word now.
Popcorn.
Yeah, beautiful.
That's what we told her.
Yeah.
It's good. I've had the Riveter.
Before we wind up, we'll come back to the ranking, but you're in the barrels business as well. The cask. How's that? What's that market? How's that?
It's good. It's a buyer's market at the minute with everything's kind of hit rock bottom, but there was a real kind of couple of years there where pricing was massively inflated down to, I think mostly to whiskey cask investment companies inflating prices, which has all come crashing down, as I'm sure everyone's aware. But that's kind of settled out pricing a little bit, which is nice. And for me, I'll buy from most of the groups, from Edrington and Diageo, and sell to the export market and independent bottlers, and that's at pricing's back at a really great price for that kind of market, and it means that independent bottlers now can put spirit back out that's competitive price wise. So I think you're going to see a lot more, hopefully, nuance, to quote Max, in that space now, because independent bottlers can take a single barrel of whiskey and add their own stamp to it, whether that's a Madeira finish or a port finish or a first fill sherry, whereas the bigger companies struggle with that because they can't necessarily put so much time into a single cask. So I think the space for creativity is going to open back up now that the price point's back to a normal level, which is exciting.
Well, you've seen some of the activity there, John. You had red wine was one of them. One of them was finished in red wine. One was finished in Madeira. Pinot Noir. So Madeira. There's a lot of innovation that's probably not been discovered yet that the whiskey industry could still investigate without a doubt.
Well, let's go through these then. So at the moment, and this is just an opinion. This is your opinion, our opinion. We're not being anti anybody. This is purely. I mean, this one we could have guessed. The Scottish one, if we're honest, we're going to say it's the best. But the Welsh one, we liked it, but we didn't think it was. Just explain what you thought about the Welsh one. Pendyren.
I think it had a reasonable nose, but normally a nose that creates something in your mouth as well. But unfortunately, the nose wasn't great, and the palate wasn't particularly good either. So the two of them together, and the colour as well. Sometimes looking at it can put you off.
It's the palest one here. Does that make a difference?
I think it does to the consumer. There is a push for brands to say there's no colour doesn't determine flavour, and to counter that, I tried a Lindors that I got from Luvians that was it was very light in colour and finished in rum casks, but it was a superb whiskey. So I think the stigma around colour and quality isn't as strong as maybe it used to be, but I do think it in a lot of cases is a good indicator of maturation. And that Pendyren to me was a bit hot, for lack of a better term.
In sixth place was the Italian whiskey, the Punic.
Well, I didn't even realise there was. I think there was only one distillery in Italy, and that's it. And I think they've got a fair way to go to improve the quality of the product.
Right.
But it's nice to see that it is available. But
Very.
I would think there may be more Italian distilleries on the go because they can get super water off the Alps. It's just a shadow. The distillery is a shadow of the Alps. So yeah.
They're the Irish whiskey. Tell them more. 5th place.
Yeah.
Meh. Okay, we'll move on. Meh. Then it was you really liked the Australian one at the start. This ended up in 4th place. No, not the Australian one, the French one. French one, which you gave 8.
Yeah, I liked it. You're
It's only 4th
not
place.
Because I hadn't seen it, not because I hadn't seen it before. I think it's actually a nice product. I don't think there's an age on it. So it's a very interesting project. But yeah, I would certainly drink that without a shadow of a doubt.
Then it was London. London Dry Whiskey, East London Liquor Company. You gave it an 8.
Yeah, I thought it was.
I was surprised.
Yeah?
I was surprised. The quality of the product. Yeah, it was very good.
I've had a few dry whiskies before, and none of them really. I wouldn't go back and buy any of them again. But I did think that was really, really interesting, and did enjoy it.
And then Tommy Kangaroo Dance, Australia. Starward.
Yeah.
It's terrible when people do your accent, isn't it? There'll be some Australian going, Beatty, just shut up.
Nice product.
Do you know, I was, my son met Dave. Have I told you this story? I ended up chasing David Campese down the wing when we played Australia, right? So we got beaten by a record score. And I went home and watched Rugby Special. It was on the opening highlights, me chasing David Campese. For 12 seasons, it was on the opening highlights. I think I've said this. Anyway, Johnny, my son, met him at Murrayfield.
Yeah.
And I'm in the house here and he phoned me. How are you, mate? How are you? Still chasing me? Still chasing me? I am miserable, so. But no, great cat. So,
Well, I've done a good job in Starward.
You like it?
Starward. I would say Star Wars.
Starward.
Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah. They've got some good wines. Obviously, some good cask because I think it's a Rioja cask. So yeah, that's innovation again.
Yeah.
So we're talking about various different types of wine cask. Ryan knows about various other kind of things that like as it Compass Box do a lot of different things as well.
Yeah, a lot of the independent bottlers at the moment are experimenting with different wine finishes, white wine finishes. Auchentoshan brought out a lovely white wine finish last year, I think it was. It was a really good dram. But yeah, I think there's a lot of space for that in the industry at the moment.
Just down the road from us. And in top place, blended by the one, the only, Max. Famous Grouse. I mean, talk me through that.
Now you guys have to say that you chose it because I'm sitting here.
No, there's no bias.
I think
What's it called? Subconscious bias.
If I was if I was leaving here now to go and buy a
Entry
bottle of
level.
whiskey, I wouldn't buy the Famous Grouse. I'd probably pick up a Starward or the London just for
Because I'm tried it before.
Yeah, just for the uniqueness. We've all drank lots of grouse, but then when you talk about the quality of the dram, it's a solid, tasty dram.
And the thing about Grouse is it's been up there
Yeah.
for years, and the idea is to keep it up there. That's the end of the day. If someone buys a bottle of Famous Grouse, likes it, you want them to buy another one. So that's what it's really all about.
Well done. Max, Ryan, thank you very much indeed. Let me just go through the final result. Bottom of the pile, the Welsh. I feel bad about that because I grew up idolising Welsh rugby players.
Yeah.
My heroes were most of the big Welshmen who worked down the pits. Wales, the Italian.
Yeah.
5th place, the Irish. 4th place is the French, which I like that one. 3rd place, English. 2nd place, Australian. 1st place, Scotland.
Yeah.
What a surprise.
I think the top 4 are all
good.
Yeah.
Aye.
I would.
There's a big
say
gap
they're worth-
between after the French one to the
Yeah.
Irish.
Irish one.
Yeah. Top 4 are worth a try, I'd say, to anybody. But like I said earlier, without being disparaging to any brand, there's a whiskey for everybody, and just because we don't
Including the
like
Welsh.
it. Yeah, 100%.
Something like it.
Well, Pendyren with 3 distilleries now, so they must be doing something right.
Yeah, and the Italian, I think, it's just super sweet. Probably too sweet for my palate, but it would be great for a highball or something like that. A nice summer drink.
Ryan, Max, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks for having us.
Welcome.
It's been fun.
We're never going home. We're never going home. Can we stay with you in Scotland for the rest of our lives? We're never going home. Never going home. All it took was one sip of the water